I don't know. I did share screen, but this is not my screen. I'm not sure why.
Oh, you didn't hear me. I said, I had to do it twice. When I did it the second time, that other screen comes up where you choose the one to share. Then you have to click on it and do share again.
I'm seeing the screen. I don't know why I'm seeing this iPhone whiteboard.
Maybe we should do this next week.
Do you have a choice there for?
I don't understand because so I have to click share again. I mean, I did this before.
Yeah,
This is
I
not,
had to.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you see anything? Do you see
Yes, it says that you've started screen sharing, but is it up on your screen?
Yeah, I have the PowerPoint.
We don't see it yet.
It says
You don't see
double
it?
click to enter. Yeah.
Now we got it.
Oh, maybe it's just slow. So you see the Bay Area figurative?
Yes.
Do you guys see it? Okay. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna, yeah. So I'm going to start, okay. So we talk about pop art and proto-pop art, and those artists on the East Coast was rebelling against the abstract expressionism. So on the West Coast, people were doing similar things, and that's what the Bay Area figurative movement is about. And this, look at this picture. We talk about abstraction. This is a little bit abstracted, but the artist is still using abstract expressionism style of brushwork. So it's very quick and fast. So this painting was done by David Park about 1949, 1950. If you remember, we talk about Rauschenberg erased de Kooning's painting in 1953. So this was before that. So the West Coast people started doing figurative or not total abstraction earlier. So it was in 1951, David Park, who was a respected abstract expressionist painter at the time, shocked the community by submitting a small figurative canvas to a competition, and he won. So at that time, he and his fellow artists signaled something drastic was happening. And after you went through a lot of other lectures, you know they were trying to end the dominance of abstract expressionism. So they actually started this movement. It became one of the most salient post-war development on the West Coast. So here you see people, you see their instruments, their chairs, and clearly we can identify the things we see. So let's go to the next one. This one is in our gallery on display right now. This was done by David Park. A little later, 1956, the flower cellar. Again, we can see the people. They're kind of abstracted, but we can tell there are two people, and they're under some kind of canopy, probably with bright sun outside. This is the flower cellar. And you can see the black outlines and patches of colors. So this is very characteristic of Bay Area figurative art style. It's a union of figurative subject with the painting style that's like abstract expressionism. And also subconscious is not part of the source of their painting. So it's all about against abstract expressionism. So David Park and his peers were doing this in late 50s and early 60s. Let me see. So they, but those people, they did this type of style for a while. Eventually, they would break up and follow the national trend of flatness, hard edge, and minimalism that you heard today. So I want to show you another painting that this is Richard Diebenkorn, and he was a good friend with David Park. There's no figure here, but we can still recognize there's a chair, there's a window, door, and we can see through the door, we see a beautiful sunny outside. So it's very typical California scene, and that's part of the characters of this Bay Area figurative movement. Let's go look at more. This one belongs to our collection. It's a lithograph, but you can see the figure, and this person is sunbathing, probably on a beach towel, outdoors. But maybe you can see on the lower right, this is later, by 1970s, Diebenkorn was not painting Bay Area figurative movement type of style anymore. He moved on to more geometric and totally abstraction. And the one on the lower right is part of his Ocean Park series. And that made him famous because it was exhibited in Venice biennial exhibition in 1978. So he was associated with all the abstract expressionism artists, but he didn't like the New York scene, so he stayed in the Bay Area and became a leader for this movement. But his art is always rooted in the outside world. So he's celebrated for capturing his surroundings on canvas without representing them literally. Just like here, you see this person, not clearly where the person is, but you know it's outdoors. This person is under the sun. Okay, so I'm gonna move on since we're gonna be very quick. Next one, this one is Paul Warner. It's a limited palette, very loose brush strokes, but you can see the two people with, it's amazing how you can tell the two people, how they're sitting, how their facial expressions are with very, very little brushworks. And it's outdoors, sunny, but the color is not even blue. So it's kind of peculiar, mostly mustard color. But the next one that's in our display right now, it's a lot more obvious. This is earlier, 1959, boy and girl, and you can just see the sun-soaked outdoor scene of California. And the guy maybe is looking out in the field. The two people are not really interacting with each other. That's also typical. They seem to show people in isolation. This is very, just very bright color compared to his mustard color later scene. It's different palette, but you can still feel that outdoor sunny feeling. And here we go to this called Yellow Lampshade, Elmer Bischoff. It's interesting, the title is this yellow lampshade, even though it's very small, but it's the brightest color, it's right in the center, it catches your attention, and you can see outside through the windows, and the two people are sort of on their own, they're isolated, as I mentioned earlier. He was raised in Berkeley, went to UC Berkeley, got his master's degree, and And he actually taught in high school for a while. And then after World War II, he joined the San Francisco, California School of Fine Arts. That's when he met David Park and Richard Diebenkorn. So they were all working together. I want to show you a few more. Those are on display right now in the gallery. And you can notice the similarity. They're outdoors. They're soaked in bright sunlight. Even though the one on the lower left, it's indoors, but you can see the sunlight coming in. You can see the ocean outside. So there's either it's always outside. There's pastoral scene or ocean scene, and people who are lonely, but there's always very bright colors. So that's what we have in the gallery. And when people go to that section, people are happy. They love to see the cheerful colors and just a very bright, very beautiful, sunny California. Now I'm going to go to my favorite artist of this group, Wayne Thiebaud. This one is earlier. It's Nathan's Deli. There's a single person. You can tell he's in front of this deli. It's hard to tell what kind of food are in the inside, but the colors are just so bright that there is kind of explosion of all different colors you can think about he used. And the brush strokes are almost random. It's not like the one I'm going to show you next, a little more uniform. This is just with a lot of energy, with a lot of color. So he loves food. That's what he's famous for. You will see a lot more food. This is when we just did a transition. So he worked for the, I guess he worked for the Disneyland or some other amusement park. He was also always associated with food. So he's famous for painting these, and somebody is going to present this. But I want to show you more about all the food he painted. They just make you happy. They look so glossy. They're like cartoon, but the colors, the shadows, and the textures, they just make you happy. So he is often associated with pop art, but he didn't paint pop art. The reason is he painted popular objects, so people think he's pop art, but he painted more like a still life with texture, with hands of artist. So he is really not doing pop art. He's one of a kind of himself. More ice cream, cakes. So he says, we don't have a sense of humor, we don't have a sense of perspective. He wants you to look at his art and be fun, have fun with it, and be happy. Especially our cage pie. There's a lot more humor in there because that pie is locked up. Nobody can get to it. That's why it's still there. But he didn't just do dessert. He also did some landscape. Look at the landscape. The colors are just like his fruit and not fruit, his dessert. They're so pleasing. The colors he painted with additional turpentine, make it very shiny, smooth. There are textures, but they're so smooth, and the colors are happy colors. They're bright and happy colors. He painted a whole bunch of San Francisco landscape. Look at those hills, and looks like going straight up sometimes. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to continue because I want to show you, if you know, we have this license plate. It was designed for Wayne Thiebaud in 1994. You can still get it. Look at, movie stars are getting these. I love, it's very simple. You see the ocean, you see the coastal road, and then the palm trees. So they're very simple, very California. And just very happy and cheerful. Here I want to show you, we talked about Diebenkorn, and he and Wayne Thiebaud were probably the two most famous artists out of Bay Area figurative movement. In I guess what was the year? Partially covered. In 2018, a special show, including the landscapes of both artists, was presented in New York. And so they show this picture of the two of them together 2 years before Richard Diebenkorn passed away. And so this is the picture. The two of them were very happy. They were good friends. They met in 1964, so they were friends for almost 30 years. So when they interviewed Wayne Thiebaud for this show, Wayne Thiebaud said on the bottom, you see, we had wonderful conversations, and Wayne Thiebaud keeps saying that he really missed that guy. It's really nice to know artists to be good friends and they influence each other. And gallery would do a show of the combination of the two. So that's really a wonderful gesture. So I want to summarize Bay Area figurative movement. So these guys were rebelling against abstract expressionism, just like the pop art, just like the heart, the edge, well, the minimalism. So this was one of the most salient post-war development on the West Coast. The characteristics are images are somewhat recognizable. So it's still partially abstracted, but they're with bold colors and thick slabs of paint, very impasto. And they're associated with California because it has saturated colors, strong sunlight, and often pastoral or suburban scenes. And as I said, these artists eventually broke up and followed the national trend of flatness, hard edge, and minimalism. And as you can see, Richard Diebenkorn later did a different type of abstraction. They're geometric, and the colors are not as strong, not as saturated. They're more harmonious. And Wayne Thiebaud also did a lot of landscape. But some of the artists would still go back to abstract expressionism sometimes. So they kind of move out of this Bay Area figurative movement. It was a short-lived movement, just like Cubism. It was more of a reaction to the prior art style. And then they went on their own way. One more artist I want to show you. We did have this painting on the left in the gallery, painted by David Hockney. And the reason I want to show you is because the one on the right, very similar to the one on the left, the one on the right was sold as the highest living artist price in the audition. It was sold in, see, I guess part of my chart is blocked. So it was sold in 2018 for $19 million. It was from Christie. But I also checked another artist who sold the highest living artist price was Jasper Johns. We talked about Jasper Johns, very significant in art history, especially in America. Jasper Johns' painting was sold, the flag, we talked about the flag, it was sold 110 million in 2010. So that's why I wanted to let you know, sometimes certain artists are more important just because they're more popular in the world. So it's good to know. And a couple of pictures of Hockney. He's British, but he also had houses in California. So he painted with a California artist a lot. And this is Santa Monica. So it's very abstraction. It's a landscape. And here, This is when he went back to England, he painted this one. This is a print. Actually, I'm thinking about Thiebaud's painting is a little bit like this too. All these landscape with beautiful patches of colors, and they might as well be abstraction, abstract art, but you can tell it's kind of landscape inspired. And that's it. That's all we have. So I think we finished. Any questions?
I just had one comment, Lily. You mentioned on Thiebaud his sense of humor, and I really laughed out. I was muted, but I laughed out loud at that painting of the cakes with the impasto on the icing. I'll never look at iced
That's
cakes
right.
the same.
Yeah,
now.
that one, because somebody's going to present that. I love that painting, and every time I tour, I always tour that painting. Kids love it, and I ask them what flavor of that pie it is. And they get all kinds of ideas. They get so interested trying to figure out what kind of pie it
Well,
is.
right now it's 1 o'clock. It's making me incredibly hungry.
If I could just say,
one without toilet paper and those 2 white cakes in there.
Okay, very important. Next time when we meet, we're going to have gallery reports. So don't forget, we start gallery reports Wednesday, and then the following Monday and Wednesday. So I haven't checked. I hope everybody's reports are turned in, and so you're ready for preparing
And
your.
Lily, just let me clarify. So we're doing a transition from one to the other, but we're not comparing and contrasting, right?
That's right. That's right. Just the presentation.
Our next class is until Monday, correct?
no, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. The spring break is over. Now we're
Oh,
back.
I thought you said after spring break we would only meet on Mondays. To
No,
make
in May. In May, we're meeting on Mondays.
In May.
Oh, okay.
Did you look at your?
So what are we doing on Monday?
Pardon me?
What are we doing on Monday?
Oh, let me check.
Maybe we should bring up the syllabus. Look at online syllabus. Okay, we have one more. We have more lectures, but those lectures are not part of your passing tours. That's why they can be after gallery reports. So for Wednesday, we have the group 1 gallery report. Then we have lecture by Ali for African and Oceanic art. Monday, another group of gallery report, and that's the presentation is conceptual art installation by Marilyn Woods. Wednesday, another group of gallery report. And then I'm going to show review of this whole segment. Review. I will have lots of slides just to review modern art and contemporary Latin American. So the next 3, we will have gallery reports and then 1 lecture for each day after the gallery report.
Thank you.
I have a question
Yes?
because we're supposed to do both oral reports on the same day at the same time, correct?
Yes.
But I have one that says on the 22nd and one on the 29th. So I do both on the 29th?
You have a whole different
I'm
gallery
confused.
report is a different due date from your written report. So I guess maybe we should bring up it's on the website. I sent attachment.
Okay, let me just look it up. I'm kind of confused when my oral reports.
There, I send out another file with a last column to consolidate the due dates because written report, the gallery report dates are, each person only has 1 date.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah, I think I remember. Just got confused. I think I have on the 29th. Okay.
So it depends on which group you belong to. You group 1, 2, or 3. So they are this Wednesday, or next Monday and next Wednesday. So Yolanda, you're probably group 2. I'm not looking, but usually group 1 is senior and
I have on the 27th, according to
yeah,
my.
yeah. So if you have any question, go online, look at assignments. The last column is the gallery report group dates. I did send out, I guess, over a week ago. I sent out this total schedule. I thought you would just look at it, then you should have it. Any other question? So anyway, so make sure you prepare for both our work and then just one transition between the two, nothing else.
So the transition, do we pick which one we go with first?
Your choice. You
Okay.
can go any which way you want.
Okay.
So any other questions?
No, just to remind you, you said you'll send us potential themes. For
I
the-
already did. I already did.
You are so good.
But I can send again. But if you want to know for
I did not
Wednesday,
receive, I'm sorry, did you send it recently?
I think a week ago. I can send again. If it's easier, I'll send it
Send
right
it.
after this.
I haven't received that.
Neither have I. With themes, I've never received, but I check the emails carefully. So maybe you can resend them, Lily.
I think there's so many email coming through, maybe you missed it. But anyway, I actually, when I sent out, Kay had questions about where the column was, so I resent with the PDF, make sure everybody could see it.
Yeah, that's good. PDFs or Word. You sent Office sometimes, and I can't get that.
I know, so that's why, so I redid in PDF, so I can just resend that same thing. But you guys, I'm saying, you're making me work more when I have to keep resending things. But anyway, please look at email when I send out emails. Usually I don't send, I mean, for the training class, if I send something out, it's something you need to know.
So this is Marvin. For whoever is planning on joining us for the book club, please stay on this line right now so we can talk about when we want to reconvene, since we've ran a little bit over time.
But we also need to, but the training team needs to practice how we do Microsoft Teams. So I think that's what, Jim, are we still gonna do that? Is Jim still there? Oh, did I not, I should. Am I still sharing?
So regarding the book club, what time it's 1:12 right now. When do people want to reconvene on the new Zoom address that Sandra sent out?
Not before 1:30?
1:30, is that good for everybody?
Fine with that.
Okay, so 1:30, and if you don't have the address, Sandra sent the email, but if you don't have it, just send me a message and I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Is Jim still there?
No, Jim's not still here.
Okay, then I guess we're not gonna try, because we were gonna try out the Microsoft team, because we need to get out of this Zoom.
So if we're through, I'll be saying bye-bye.
Okay, so
I don't have the new
then you guys can talk about your book club.
Okay, bye, Lily.
Okay, I need to leave meeting.
Marvin, can you hear me?
He's gone.
He's gone. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Lily's gone. Everybody's gone.